Well, I think great working relationship comes from having a mutual understanding and a mutual respect. Where I find I have a positive relationship is where they understand my business and they are continually trying to help me deliver on the things that I need to deliver on, rather than perhaps coming in and setting their own agenda or having their own needs, if you like, where they understand the marketplace that I'm in and how it changes and what the pressures are, and they provide solutions to that, and where they're consistent and follow through on promises and deliver what they say they're going to deliver.
So as a clinician, I want, with the individual representative or with the company per se, to feel that I can get in contact with them, I get my questions answered truthfully and with some degree of alacrity. That they hear what I'm saying to them and that I can see they take it on board and respond, that they give me good objective evidence when I request it, and that they understand the pressures on my time and the pressures that are on my resources. There have been a number of high-profile cases where such companies have had their reputations very badly dented. And to dent a reputation in the healthcare market takes a long time to recover from. Not years, many, many years to recover from. And it affects not just that particular product, but the whole range of products which that company has.
Things are often difficult if there are agendas which keep creeping to the surface. If a company is so deeply obsessed with its marketing approach, this can come in the way of a clear conversation and a clear discussion with the clinicians about how to pursue a particular area. It's important to park the marketing ethic in a helpful way so that one can get on with the topics of mutual interest that will interest both parties.
Where I'm being perhaps exposed to things that aren't necessarily thinking about things from my perspective, so they're perhaps coming at it from a company perspective and what they want to say rather than what I need. If it's perhaps a case that they are expecting things from me or for me to do things that perhaps don't fit in with either professionally how I feel or personally how I feel, if it runs against my sort of beliefs, I don't want to say that sort of thing, or I don't necessarily believe that what you're saying is the case. I've got to believe in it. So when we're having to do things or endorse things or to talk to people about things, if we don't have that sort of belief, then that's quite uncomfortable.
It is, of course, very frustrating when you lose your regular line of contact. There is a remedy for this. I think every company needs to have a strategic approach to relationships with clinicians. So there ought to be one part of the company which has kind of an implicit knowledge as well as tacit knowledge of what's happening, a more consistent approach from a certain division or from a certain section, so that no matter who the specific individuals are who are dealing with the clinicians, the basic direction and intention is kept intact. That can be very reassuring. For that reason, I think that from time to time, in terms of high-level contacts with clinicians, senior people in the company ought to meet them, ought to set up a dialogue with them. Clinicians are happier when they've met senior people from the industry, whichever pharmaceutical company they're working with, because that establishes a kind of a liaison which will supersede any difficulties or lack of continuity with individuals at ground level.
As a healthcare leader, being responsible for interacting with companies for a primary care trust, I've actually banned company representatives from seeing all my doctors and banned them for over a year. So in the primary care trust where I was, one company in particular did not adhere to the terms of an agreement which we had with them about how they would provide information, unbiased information about their product. Of course I found out about it because GPs talk to each other, and we banned that company from any promotional activity within our area of 250,000 people for an entire year.
The things that I like them to do is to be precise, to the point, be knowledgeable, to understand what they're talking about, to understand why it's relevant to me and my circumstances and where it fits in. There's nothing worse than somebody, coming in and talking about something which just isn't relevant to me because of either where I'm working or because of the fact that the local guidance says X or Y. So in which case then that's pretty much a waste of my time and definitely a waste of their time.
Where things work out well, it's clear that the company has done its homework in terms of the clinical problem, the extent of the clinical problem, and where opportunities lie. Often they've taken the time and trouble to speak with doctors, nurses, and other experts in that particular area. They get to know the lie of the land well. Secondly, and most importantly, I think they take a rather neutral approach, which means that they do park their marketing brain to one side and allow the subject matter and the activity to develop in its own way. By doing that, the product becomes more genuine, something that you can actually interact with. The net result is often much, much better than one which would have been obtained by taking a marketing approach. It's very frustrating for doctors who are attempting to make a relationship with a company, which is based essentially on the sort of seller-buyer concept. That's a real problem.
What personally I would like to see more of is, I suppose, a bit more bespoke activity around, wherever possible. I appreciate that's not an easy task, but bespoke around the needs of the sort of individuals in the pharmacy and the individual needs of the pharmacist. Having something that sometimes I think historically there's been a bit of a sort of one size fits all. There's a seminar that everybody should attend, or there's a program that everybody should complete, and I think in this day and age there's probably a huge variety of means that people can tap into, and I think sometimes we miss out because we don't necessarily have all the information to allow us to access those. So some sort of a working in partnership to plan what we're doing going forward.